Greetings, fancy feathers. Today I'm going to be doing an all signs reading. We're going to be using seashells and we're going to be doing all 13 signs. I'm sorry that my angles are really strange today, but this is the best angle that I could get so that you can see the seashells. So let's go ahead and begin. I hope everybody is doing well. I wrote them all down so I don't forget. And I don't go in Western astrological order. I just go by what sign I remember off the top of my head. And I always like to begin with ophiuchus first because ophiuchus was deleted. Okay, so I always like to go ophiuchus first because I like to acknowledge their existence. So let's go ahead and begin. Oh gosh, the camera's already shaking. Sorry, this is the best I can do. Okay, so hi ophiuchus. We're gonna go ahead and start shuffling. So ophiuchus, you are fed up. Okay, when I mean, like, let me look at you for a second, okay? Ophiuchus, you are so fed up with people that you have taken matters under your own hands. You realize that you cannot depend on anybody. You realize that you cannot rely on anybody. And you have to take matters under your own hands in every single way possible. Physical, energetic, spiritual. And here's your reading. So I'm done shuffling. And what I have for ophiuchus is that is the best decision that you can make. It is the best decision that you can make to go at it alone, and it doesn't mean literally, like literally you might have a bunch of friends that support you, but I'm saying going at it on your own as in regards to important decisions. You realize that nobody else's opinion matters, that for some reason you spent your whole life always asking for people's advice, for people's perspective, for people's opinion on what they think on the people that you date, what they think about your life choices. Your career, where you should live, where you should travel. And you have gone through an epiphany. If you haven't, you will go through an epiphany where you realize that none of that matters. People's opinions or people's suggestion in regards to your life and what is precious to you and your soul and your spirit is actually toxic. You've realized that it's actually toxic to care so much what anybody in your group thinks, even if it's a group of your best friends, because it's kind of a bad habit. It's a bad habit that people do where they care what their friends think. Why does everybody do that? Why does everybody care what their friends think when a lot of times your friends are just not really real friends, but fake friends that are jealous and don't want you to have what is best for you because maybe they want it for themselves, just as an example. And that's already throwing energy. So the best thing for you to do is to remain secretive in your important decision making, not making an announcement when you make your moves, not asking for anyone's validation, not asking for anyone's opinion, not asking for anyone's permission. You realize that your way of thinking is beyond the superficial masses, brainwashed. So many people are brainwashed, and you realize that you've been making a mistake. You've been making a mistake for asking swine for advice. Does that make sense? You realize that you're better than the opinions that matter to you for so long, because a lot of you are compassionate and you have misunderstood compassion for caring what people think. And now you are learning to flip it. You're learning to flip it and learning that you were born to be a leader. You're born to be a nonprofit organization leader. You're born to lead a nonprofit organization, a group, a purpose, a positive agenda. And in regards to your love life, wait, let me talk about your financial first. Your financial is a hot mess because you're targeted. It's always the special ones that have the ability to revolt the masses that get targeted the most. And your finances are targeted. Your finances can sometimes get blocked by these entities that want to target you through poverty, because poverty, financial debt, is a spirit. It's a spirit that needs to be exorcised. So that's why your finances don't look good, because the opposing force knows what you're up to, down to the T. So in your dating life, I suggest that you date absolutely no one unless they have the kind of love that you have for humanity. Okay, and let's go ahead and move on to Aries. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle your shells. So Aries, speaking of, I had just got through talking to Ophiuchus about being targeted. Aries is another sign. Like, all the signs have their pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses. And all the signs have different levels of energy, different brackets of energy, and different brackets of targeting. And Aries is one of those signs that is targeted often because it is such a talented and powerful sign. And the enemy knows that. So it will be targeted more than other signs, such as Gemini. Gemini is not going to get targeted. Aquarius is not going to get targeted because they're very light-hearted signs that they learn how to adapt and kind of go with the flow. Whereas signs like Aries, they say, no, I have an authority over all decisions. So that creates an intimidation. Okay, we're done. So Aries, oh, you are dealing with so much. You are overwhelmed with emotion. You are overwhelmed with empathy. You are overwhelmed with the suffering of humanity and Mother Earth. You are overwhelmed with all of it. You know, people who are empathic have a hypersensitivity like no other, to the point where we have to turn it off, right? All the people who are sympathetic, hypersensitive, energetically empathetic, um, have to learn how to turn it off. But the problem with that is when we turn it off, we feel guilty. We end up feeling guilty for turning it off. It's almost like we feel like we have to suffer, whether that is staying up all night or just carrying the world on your shoulders. And it just feels like, when is someone going to help you? You're always helping others. And it's time for you to receive help. But there's no one there. And that, I think, is not true. I think it's just a negative thought that you replay on your mind. You replay on your mind, there's no one there, there's no one there, there's no one there. But it is a lie that the enemy is telling you, and the devil is a liar. There's a whole collective that is a countless number, an infinite number, an eternal number that feels the collective pain of humanity, Mother Earth, and the animals. You are not the only one, and you are never, ever alone. And for your health and your sanity, it seems like it's important for you to do a detox, a spiritual drainage detox. And unfortunately, even though it's really difficult to do, pressing the off switch and kind of going off grid, going MIA for a long time, and pretending that the world is not on fire. And I know that sounds crazy, but that is what I'm being pulled to tell you. And I know that introverts understand this as well, where introverts want to help change the world. They want to help heal the world. Healers, all the healers out there want to help heal the world, but we have to get over that guilt of turning off switch and clearing that guilt, because how can we help? How can we contribute if we are exhausted? Moving along, the collective is feeling exhausted because humanity is being radiated as we sleep. We are literally being microwaved as we sleep. And that is the reason why a lot of people feel tired even after sleeping so much. Copper, genuine copper, is really good for protection. Oh gosh, there's just so much more that I would say on these platforms if I could. But I'm gonna say copper wallpaper, genuine copper wallpaper, are things that people can use. So there are two people that threw hexes at you and your love interest, and all that is being boomeranged sevenfold. People don't understand that jealousy and envy is a spell, and anyone who throws jealousy towards your happiness, your passions, your inspirations, your desires, they're throwing negative things that are going to boomerang, and they only end up hurting themselves because nothing goes unnoticed. It's the universal law. There's no such thing as privacy. There is no such thing as privacy. There's always a witness. So even though you may have gotten physical rest, you need to get mental rest. The physical seems to be okay, but it's the mental. It's overwhelmed mentally. And you just have to clear everything out and let it fall again. And whatever is important is going to be solid and sustained in your life. And whatever you choose to reject is just going to fall away. And your peace of mind will return. It's really difficult for people to have a peace of mind right now, the way the world is going, but it's part of the test. Part of the test is how we react, how we respond to the chaos. Because every single move we make is being watched, both by dark and light. And if you just go forward with what makes you happy, nothing can get in between. And if something does, it's going to be exposed. And it's exposed here. You have two people that threw hexes, at least two, that threw hexes at you and your union with someone very special that is one of a kind. And that's the reason why this stuff was thrown, because they were one of a kind, and people hate to see beautiful, chosen, precious ones be one of a kind that's not them. They just do. And that they don't understand that that's the reason why they represent the darkness. They represent the darkness for that very fact. Because instead of being happy for people, they throw things at people. And the person that you're interested in, my, they are one of a kind. And they are protected by universal law. That is all that I have for you. And let's move on along to Capricorn. Hi, Capricorn. Let's go ahead and shuffle your shells. I'm not going in any particular order. I cannot remember the signs whenever I get down to doing them, so I just write down a list and go with whatever I recall or remember. And I usually can't remember nothing, so I start thinking of my loved ones and my family members and what signs they are. Okay, Capricorn. Are we done? Are we done? I don't want to stop shuffling, but okay. All right. I need to cough. I need to pause this to cough. Okay. So, I don't even know where to begin with you. There are two people that really, really, really want you. There's two people that want your hand. And You also have people from the past that might be throwing shade, throwing negative thoughts towards your future. So make sure that you're clearing envious eyes from your past, because your past is filthy with envy, because you left them behind, because you saw their darkness, you saw their BS, and you boomeranged all their BS. And they're getting slapped in the face with consequence, and they're mad because your intentions were pure. And there's nothing wrong with outgrowing BS. There's nothing wrong with outgrowing darkness. We're supposed to outgrow darkness. We're supposed to remove people from our lives that represent darkness. And that is exactly what you did. And that's why they're mad and try to throw the evil eye at you, but it's not going to work because you're solid and righteous in all the decisions that you made. You're having digestive issues because the food is fake. A lot of you've been, choosing healthy food, trying to eat more fruit, trying to eat, more lean meat or whatever, but you and everyone in the world need to be aware that the food is synthetic. A big percentage of the food is synthetic, and they use borax to make it look like fat when it's actually glue. So a lot of the meat is fake at the store, the beef is fake, and so many other things like bread they add foam to, and silicone to fast food meat on top of DNA strands that have been found in fast food. I don't know why I want to say that. But the reason why you're having digestive issues is because a lot of the food is fake. If you are in America, if you're not in America, God bless you. God bless you. I wish I could join you. I wish I could join you. So you're doing the right thing by hiding. You've been traveling, shifting, hiding. And you're doing the right thing by laying low. You're doing the right thing by laying low and keeping your interest. Oh, there's your interest. I was like, are you single? No, no, you're not. I see your person here. I see your person here, and then I see someone behind your person trying to pretend to be your person. Like there's someone that tries to mimic your loved one because they want a sliver, and they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it, okay? So you are protected by your 5D husband or wife, protects you from people who are plastic in the spiritual world. There's so many eyes on you. It's really important that you do cleansing all the evil eye, because you might as well do it on a daily basis. Like me, for example, I do return spells every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. I don't do any kind of spell work except return spells every single day. In the morning, in the middle of the night, at night, I guess 3 times a day I do return spells because I am fully aware of energetic interferences 24/7, baby. Even when I'm asleep, you know, So I know you have people digging through your things, whether that's like digging through your paperwork or like digging through your drawers. Um, there's nothing that you can have secret right now. That's there's just it just I don't like to sugarcoat nothing. There's no such thing as privacy. There's no such thing. You're watching the TV, but the TV is watching you. So if you have a TV in your bedroom, when you're ready to go to sleep, disconnect it and cover it with a towel or a blanket, and you'll be good to go. Because I like having a TV in my room. I like playing ambience, candle background, waterfall background, jazz background, okay? Get it nice and romantic ambience in your bedroom. The person that you're inquiring about, that you're like, oh, what person, what person? It's the person that, for the ones who don't know, it's the one you have a telepathic relationship with, On here, it's like a cosmic marriage where you're cosmically married already and have been, but it may not have transpired in the physical because why? Because of somebody self-sabotaging, someone, your loved one, self-sabotaging the relationship because they're traumatized by a relationship that they had in the past, and they're just not, they got really hurt and they don't want to get hurt again. And okay, so I would go on, but for some people, your person is begging me not to, and I'm respecting that. You know, so right now, you see your life as being an empty cup. You spent all of your savings on teleporting. I don't know why I want to say that. Moving, teleporting, transitioning, um, visiting another country, things like that. And now you're just feeling empty. But what you don't understand is that your cup is about to run full. It's about to overflow, overflow with the glory of God, with the glory of Source, with the glory of heaven. It is going to overflow because you made all the correct decisions. You did what you were guided to do. And then people want to put you through a guilt trip because you did what God told you. Those people don't even see, they don't even realize what they have coming for them. The consequence, God's vengeance, God's wrath that is upon them. They don't even see it. You can't even see it because you're not even in their dimension. They're in the underworld and you're flying. Okay? That's all that I have for you. Thank you. Next sign that we're going to do is Scorpio. Scorpio. Yes, I bashed my finger. It looks so ugly. Look how black it looks. And it still hurts. That's what you call spiritual warfare. The enemy did not want me to leave my old office. It had a grip on me and would not let me leave. And there's your proof. Okay, Scorpio, what you going through? Scorpio. Scorpio, you always up to no good. When are you going to learn? When are you going to learn? That's why I do these readings, because there's people that I'm like, did they learn? Let's see if they learned, okay? Oh, okay. Okay. You are dealing with spirits, okay? You are one stubborn little Scorpio, aren't you? You're dealing with a spiritual warfare right now, where the dark and the light are fighting for you. There's a tug of war, and you are low key flattered. You're spiritually flattered by this, subconsciously, low key, however you want to call it. And that is your downfall. And I believe it's been your downfall for a long time. For over a decade, this has gone on. And you've clearly seen both sides. You understand that all paths lead back to source in the end, if you even want to call it the end. And even when you're going through the underworld, even when you're going through those evil, evil times, you somehow get out of that tunnel and you go towards the sun. You go towards the genuine light, right? And what's crazy is when you go through that underworld, sometimes you come out loving God even stronger. And not to make this religious, but Source does not want religion. Source does not want religion. Source wants relationship. Relationship. That is what matters. So, who are you going to have a relationship with? Are you going to have a relationship with the lower mind source or the higher mind source? Because who are we to judge? Who are we to judge, right? You want to know why I don't judge people? Even people who try to throw things at me, all I do is return their crap to hit them back in the face. Amplified. I never go beyond that. I never go out of my way to say, oh, that person threw something at me, so now I'm going to throw something at them. I never do that. I just throw back their crap so that it doesn't hurt me. Because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in retaliation. I believe that justice and righteousness belongs to source. Vengeance belongs to source, and source does a beautiful job at delivering universal law consequence and divine reinforcement. So, the reason why I don't judge people is because we all have a decision every day that you wake up. You want to function in your lower mind or you want to function in your higher mind. You want to stay neutral, you want to be a little bit of both. That's to be neutral is not, that is once again your dilemma. You want to be in spiritual limbo. You want to be neutral. You want to have your foot in the dark side and another foot in the light side, and it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. In Taoism, it's important to have a balance of both, but the balance has to be a righteous balance where you use the dark energies for self-defense or for ones who deserve it that are offenders. Yes, that would mean that you would hold some kind of darkness, but it's being discerning of how to use it, how and when to use it, and you have that temptation of using it wrongly. So yes, of course, there's the yin and the yang and that natural balance, but ultimately there's a decision that needs to be made on who you're going to serve. Are you going to serve the higher mind or the lower mind? And once again, you can make those changes as your days go by. Every single day we wake up and we make that decision. Am I going to function in my higher mind or my lower mind? Using cursive words, bad words is the lower mind, right? Watching how we speak is a higher mind. So being in spiritual limbo is going to bring consequence. So any consequence that you're dealing with that you don't understand, that feels like a tornado that just comes, or sleep paralysis, is because of that spiritual limbo, is because there's a decision, a declaration, a decree that needs to be made to the correct answer. And until you get yourself off of spiritual limbo, your life will continue to progress because right now it is blocked. It is stumped. And you are holding your cup and you're like, why isn't it filling up with anything? It's not filling up with anything because you're in spiritual limbo. You have chosen both dark and light. These are just general collective readings. They will not resonate with everybody. Your entire life is blocked because you have not decided who you're going to serve. Are you going to serve source or are you going to serve darkness? Okay. Very interesting in regards to, dating or anybody that you're dating, anybody that's trying to date you, friends, addictions. Those are all distractions that are irrelevant right now. You are in spiritual warfare because you need to make a choice whether you're going to serve the dark or the light. Thank you. Next, we are going to go to Taurus. Shuffling for Taurus. Taurus, you have been having digestive issues, not only because the food is synthetic, but because you continue to be jealous or envious. All the signs have their strengths and weaknesses, and Taurus, you are probably the sign, one of the signs that has that biggest issue of being jealous and envious over people who have what you don't. And that is your biggest downfall. I don't like to sugarcoat readings. So the reason why um the reason why you're having digestive issues that don't go away is because your jealousy does not go away. And when you are jealous or envious towards anything or anyone, it is a spell. Okay? So that's the reason why some of you might even have, when it comes to healing the physical body, you need to heal the soul first, and then everything else will follow. And you have bitterness, hatred, envy, jealousy towards people, an individual. an ex. You're still having issues with being possessive, where you just think that you own everybody that you used to date, or own everybody that you used to even consider that never even liked you back. Those are the things that I am talking about. Those have consequences. You have to learn how to be happy for people. Okay? Learn how to be happy for them. You can't expect people to be happy for you if you're never happy for anyone. You're needing to spend more time with your children. If you have children, you need to spend more time with them. You ignore them a lot to be on TikTok. These are just collective readings. They will not resonate with everybody. You need to just put your phone down and be there for your children emotionally, because if you're not there for your children emotionally, they're just going to dismiss you as adults because you're just teaching them how to be without you. For those of you who are in a relationship or in a marriage where you are ghosting your spouse or ghosting your person, when someone ghosts another person, when someone goes silent on another person without an explanation, without letting them know, hey, I'm going to take some time off. When you do that, you are training the person that you're doing that to learn how to live without you. Okay? So, all the people in the world who ghost other people, you are literally training that other person to live without you. And that is why you don't ghost people. That's why you're supposed to be there for people and let them know if you're not going to be there, or be honest, which for some reason in this era, no one knows how to do that. People have zero communication skills. Everyone's getting ghosted. Everyone's just getting used sexually. And there's no communication. There's no respect. I guess it depends on what country you're in, because all the countries have their own particular shenanigans, right? So if someone did that to you, they're just training you how to be without them. And it's silly for you to be codependent on someone that you're gonna eventually leave. So you're mad, you're angry because you still haven't found what you're looking for. And you have to understand that you're not the only one. There's many, 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 many people who are not happy or satisfied or found whatever they are looking for. And even when they did settle down, they just settled and they're not really happy. It's not just you. It's not just you. There's things that you have in your life that you don't appreciate. Here they are. They're in here. It's probably either your family or stability, or someone that helps you with a house, someone that helps you with a car, someone that helps you with money. And because of several people's existence in your life, you do not suffer like your neighbor does. And that is what you need to be grateful for. If you want more things in your life, if you want more things to come to your life, you need to learn how to be more grateful. Wake up and be grateful instead of waking up and complaining. Waking up and complaining is only going to manifest more things to complain about. Your love life. You are attractive on the outside to the opposite gender, but once they get to know you, they run for their life because they see something that you need to modify that you won't admit to yourself. And it is not surgery. It's not surgery. It's more like spiritual surgery that needs to be done, where you need to learn how to take your aggression out in healthier manners than throwing crap at people. You're surrounded by beauty and you don't even stop to smell the flowers. And there is someone that was interested in you, but why did it break? there was someone that was interested in you and it broke because of your anger. So this could be somebody from, I want to say like 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago there was somebody that really really loved you, but it broke because of your anger. Your anger made them cheat or something like that. But that was a message for 10 years ago, but it just wanted to be mentioned because it's part of the reason why a lot of you are still single, because you have like a hormone imbalance and you break everything that tries to help you. Sorry that your reading is so blunt, but it's just a universal law that is fed up with you wasting your potential on negativity. You have so much potential to offer the world healing, and instead you're angry. You know, it's like angry clouds that just waste so much of your time and energy in life. So it's really important for you to do whatever it is that you need to do that is going to infuse you with the light of source, perhaps in a location that does not halt your growth. Because right now it seems like you're living somewhere that halts your growth and is actually making you regress backwards. And that's why I don't recommend living with family. I don't recommend living with your parents at a certain age, because it halts growth, you know. Once people are kind of living with their parents in their 30s and 40s, it's going to halt your growth, and it's important for you to take a big break away from that if you can. And it's okay to come back later. It's like, let's say you move out. I thought I heard my door knocking, but I don't want to get it. If it's a male, they'll just leave a slip and I'll just have to go get it somewhere. Um, where was I? It's okay if you leave and come back, like, at a certain age, you leave your parents' house and you live on your own for like a couple years and then you come back. That's fine. I'm talking about the ones that never leave. Like, they never leave their parents' house and they're like 30s and 40s and 50s and you never left. That's a luxury. That's great, but it's going to halt your growth at some level. Okay, that's all that I have for you. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Leo. Leo, lucky Leo. I like to call you lucky Leo because you're so freaking lucky. You just are. Like, if I have any luck, it's because of my Leo moon. I'm a Leo moon. And I think that's where all my luck comes from. Any luck that I do get is from my Leo moon, because my other placements. Anyway. Okay, interesting. Wow, Leo. So you're finally tapping in. Oh my Lord, you're finally tapping into what matters. It has been so difficult for me to get you to tap into your own power, your own true power, not the synthetic, filtered version that you have shown your social circle for over a decade, but a new one, and you're finally tapping back into it. And the way that you're coming back is different. Like, so a long time ago, I want to say like 10 to 20 years ago, you had this powerful spiritual power that you turned in for something else, like alcohol. You turned in your spiritual power for alcohol. So then you drank for 20 years, but you were the most powerful before you started drinking. So you lost your power when you drank for 20 years, 10, 20 years, and now you're either drinking less or considering to leave it altogether, something like that. And if not that, there's something toxic that has been ripped from you. Some of you even going through some kind of surgery, invasive surgery, reproductive surgery, something like that. And you went through something in life that kind of obligated you to get back into your authenticity, your authentic spiritual power, your blueprint. And the way that you are present in it is so much better than the one from 10 to 20 years ago, because the one from 10 to 20 years ago, before you started drinking, was a fireball with no control, just ready to be flung at any attacker. And now you're coming in so grounded. It's very refreshing to see a fire sign like you coming in so grounded. It's why you represent the majestic lion, because you are a progressive sign. It just takes you maybe a little longer, but it's worth the wait. And here you've come back humbled by a life experience, and you're ready to do whatever is asked of you. You're easier for source to have a connection and an intellectual dialogue with, and that is really beautiful to see for you. You're going to be seeing more clearly. All of the confusion is just going to be completely wiped away, and you're going to realize in which areas of your life you were being gullible or blinded or wearing rose tinted glasses. And marriage, I see marriage for a lot of you that have been in a long term relationship. You're going to be proposed to and you're going to get married. That's what I see. Thank you. These are just collective readings, so sorry if I messed up the surprise for your person. Whoops. Okay. Next we have Libra. Libra, what did you get yourself into? Why are you always getting yourself into situations? I want to stop shuffling now for Libra. So, Libra, you got yourself in another situation. So let me just tell you, gosh, there are so many groups out there that are infiltrated that you need to be careful of. Ceremonies, moon festivals, pagan rituals, yoga retreats, all those things are infiltrated. And for some reason, you're like a honeybee to honeybee to flowers, honeybee to pollen, honeybee to beehive. When it comes to these groups, you have got to be careful of spiritual traps. You know, like I always say, all the signs have their strengths and weaknesses. Your weakness, Libra, is being spiritually gullible and going straight for spiritual traps. And you will be just filled with entities that need to be cleared. And then you go to the wrong person to clear them, and the person that tries to clear them just multiplies the amount of spiritual issues. You have got to be careful. Like, this is the reason why you have to do things properly with cleansing ceremonies and traditions. They have to be run properly. Everything has to be done a specific way, and nobody wants to follow the specific ways anymore. But guess who does? Guess who does follow the specific ways? The Satanists. The Satanists, they do. They follow everything traditionally. So basically, the dark side is being prayed for correctly, but Source is not. You know, when did Source ever ask for child sacrifices? You know what I mean? And that's what unfortunately runs this very wicked world. You know, but there's consequences for all that. There's consequences for all that. And the consequences are that they are going to reincarnate, and the people who cause suffering to other people are going to reincarnate as the animals that get slaughtered on loop. You know, where do you think flies and cockroaches come from? They reincarnated from very wicked people, and there's consequences to all of that. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful with who you trust. I'm very concerned for you. There's drug addiction here, alcohol addiction. You are always on the cliff, you know? Like, what are you trying to do to yourself? Are you trying to overdose? You have to be careful. You need to seek help, professional help. That is not a trap. You have to learn the difference between traps and safety. And there's a therapy. A lot of Libras, you're going to need therapy. Holistic therapy, okay? Holistic. You can't trust just anybody. You have to go for the alternative medicine, natural medicine, holistic therapists that are not going to drug you up on pharmaceuticals, because you need you need a shift, because you can't tell the difference between traps and what is good for you. Okay? I'm not allowed to help you in that department because there's so much that you're dealing with. And it's something that you're going to have to do the inner work for. You're going to have to do the spiritual work, find a holistic therapist that is going to help you. You can do this if you can't afford it. You can do this with meditation. You can just meditate and say, you know, Source, show me what is safe from what is a trap. And usually it's like 90% of content and groups and retreats and events and festivals and concerts, I can go on forever, are infiltrated. There's usually just a good solid 10% of holistic natural, you know, remedies and content and festivals out there. So you have to be really careful with that, because you unfortunately here are spiritually blinded by the activity around you. There's a lot of energetic parasites. Okay. And all of this stems from alcohol and drugs and socializing with people and accumulating their energy. And then all of their energy makes you sick. Okay? So I'm sorry that your reading was like that. Please take care of yourselves, okay? Please take care of yourselves. I know it's hard. I know it's hard when we feel alone, but we're not alone. There is a collective of love. There is a collective of compassion. There is a collective of people who are hypersensitive to crimes done against humanity every single day. It's a spiritual warfare, and you have to have compassion for yourself, love yourself enough to protect and shield yourself from what we go through every day. Okay, so the next sign that we're going to be doing is Aquarius. Aquarius, I really didn't shuffle your cards that much because I don't need to. Your cards. I really said cards. Your Shelleys. Your Shelleys. So Aquarius, you want something different for yourself. And you are headed in the right direction. You feel like it's too late. You feel like it's too late. You're like, oh, did I move too slow? Is it too late? No. No. It is not too late. You're just in time. I need to inhale some oil. Give me a second. It's a lot of energies today. So you are on the right track, Aquarius. I am happy for you. I am happy for you because you realize what is and is not working out. You feel it, you sense it in your spirit. And you're with somebody, you have somebody who loves you, and they think you're crazy sometimes, but not in a bad way, in a good way. They're like, you are so crazy. You want to have children right now? We don't even know if our food at the grocery market is real, and you want to have children. So it's kind of like a cute crazy, you know? But I see you two kind of having little arguments about children and the timing and how many and how and when and where. And you got to be careful. You have to be careful with your hormones. I highly suggest that you transition before you have this child. These are just collective readings. It's not going to resonate with everybody. Um, you're not happy where you are. Where you are right now is limiting the career. The job is limiting. You have to save money and transition to a completely different country. It's not as difficult as they make it seem. They want to make it seem like you need this and you need that and you need this and you need that. Don't spend your money on, what do they call it? Those advisors. They're like advisors that tell you how to be able to move to a country. Most of those advisors are scams that end up charging you a lot of money to tell you things that Google can tell you. So be careful with that. You don't need that. You don't, an immigration lawyer, I don't know about that. Just be really careful. But my point that I'm trying to tell you is that it's not as difficult as they make it seem, as long as you do your research. You can watch videos on YouTube of people who left the town that you're interested in, people that are arriving, how their experience has been in a couple months, how their experience has been in a couple of years. And once you've chosen your destination, leave and go. I just think that you would have a better life if you just left where you're living. Wherever you're living right now is limiting, and it's not going to improve. It's just going to regress if you stay in the town where you're living. Now, if you're happy where you're living, then obviously that doesn't apply to you. That just is for the person meant to hear it. Okay. For some of you, you might not be able to have children because your body is too fragile, and you have to be really careful with forcing a certain body type to have a child if it's not ready. I get that there's a lot of physical health issues that you need to work on before you start trying for a baby, such as an eating disorder, anorexia, bulimia. There's something like that is very dangerous to try to have a child when you have those health issues. And those health issues that you have, do not treat them with western so-called medicine. Don't treat them with pharmaceuticals. Treat them with acupuncture, holistic medicine, natural medicine, alternative medicine, which drives me crazy. It drives me crazy that they call natural medicine alternative. The pharmaceutical industry should be called alternative. They should be the alternative drug dealers. They're legal synthetic drug dealers, that are poisoning people. They're not healing anybody. Western medicine should not be called Western medicine, but that's what it's called. They're good for surgeries, they're good for stitching body parts back together, but they don't know how to heal because they cannot admit or acknowledge the existence of the soul. Therefore, they don't heal anybody, they just kill people. Are you not supposed to use that word? Like, are you not supposed to use that word? For some reason, people have been using the word unalivened. Like, what? We're not allowed to say the K word now? Anyways, Aquarius, the relationship that you're in, I see that going towards long term. I see your relationship growing deeper into marriage and long term. That's all the messages that I have for you. Thank you. And let's move on to Cancer. Cancer, what have you gotten yourself into? You're always getting yourself into something, aren't you? Let's find out if Cancer has improved their boundaries for self-respect and authority. Okay. Oh, you lost your temper. You done lost your temper and crashed out in front of the problem. After the last reading, like we talked about, I know it was a couple months ago, but a lot has happened since then. Let me write down that I'm doing this. Okay, so it seems like the explosive fight was with your spouse over the family and the house, and you left to meet up with friends, and some of you went drinking and left your spouse. Uh-oh. Some of you are going through a divorce. Some of you are figuring out custody battles. Some people moved out. Some people moved in. And a lot of you are single. For those of you that are happily married, there was just a bunch of family drama having to do with the children and a possible pregnancy. But for some reason, all the craziness in the house, you were able to handle well. You were able to put everybody in their place, but there was one person that was left behind, and that was the problem. You figured a way to defend yourself and get rid of the person. For some of you, it's a spouse, and for some of you, it was just a toxic roommate or family member or toxic presence or energy that needed to go. I'm getting led to shuffle your Shelleys again because so much has happened. Cancer, how's it going after that? After all that chaos, Cancer? Okay, so you're doing better now. For those of you who left your spouse, some of you are considering dating the same gender because you're traumatized and you feel so much better. You feel so much better now that you are not with the person that you were married with for so long. There were just so many issues, and even though it's been painful, you're surprised by how good you feel. Like you thought that you would possibly not handle it well, but the thing is that it's like this divorce happened a long time ago internally. It's like you already intuitively felt it unraveling a long time ago. So when it finally did, instead of feeling like heartbreak, you felt relief. You felt release. And now you're free and you can care less what they do. And you're so happy that you stood up for yourself and you want to do it more often now. For some of you, you took a trip or you went to an adventure or you just stopped being introverted all the time. There's something new that you did and it's become your new addiction and it's a healthy addiction. You know, it's like maybe one day you just got up to go to the gym and all of a sudden you're going to the gym every day. You know, something like that. So that's really good. The people in your family that you were there for night and day have been there for you this summer. And you're just so happy that all the people that you were there for all have your back and were helped you get rid of the toxic person that was hurting you. Some of you might have gotten a restraining order. Some of you, that person that was hurting you got incarcerated, something like that. There was justice served, and there's no reason for you to feel any guilt or shame. This is time for you to replenish and rejuvenate yourself, self pamper, self nourish, appreciate this month with your loved ones because they're going to be going back to school soon. Okay, that's all that I have for you. Thank you. Next up, we have Pisces. Hello, Pisces. Pisces, hi to you. What have you been going through? You know, I should plug this up. I should plug up my laptop, Pisces. I'm going to plug it in right after I put that down. Give me 1 second. I have to plug it in. All right, Pisces. So I had to plug in my laptop so my battery doesn't die. Okay. Should I shuffle again? No. Okay, so Pisces, what is Pisces going through? So for Pisces, you have joined a nonprofit organization, you've joined a group where you're going to be getting people's signatures, like doing petitions, you realize, Pisces, that the masses have a non existent IQ level because, they're on TikTok and what's really ironic? What I think is so ironic is TikTok is making people dumber, right? It's lowering their IQ, it's making them narcissistic and self absorbed. However, sometimes the weapons of the enemy backfire. And TikTok is one of those examples where, because so many people have it, certain information can be leaked on there. And because of that leaked information, it bursts people's bubble and people are starting to wake up. But for the most part, we live in a world where the masses have no IQ. They're robotic, skinwalkers, zombie apocalypse. They had the procedure done multiple times and now they're being turned into mRNA. They're a lot of the people who had the procedure done, their DNA was modified and they no longer have their original DNA. Now they have, you know, their DNA altered. On top of so many things, there's clones among us. So, my point is the masses, or at least this is a feeling, because a lot of times we feel things that are not literal or physical, but they're feelings, and you feel like the masses don't understand something life altering, that there's something life altering that Pisces has discovered, a realization, an epiphany, some humanitarian clarity, whatever it is. You realize that the masses don't grasp something that should have been grasped a long time ago for the salvation of humanity. But Pisces, you're the chosen one. You're the chosen one to make a change, to save the world. This is just a collective reading. It's not going to resonate with everybody. But Pisces, there's something that you have where it might be associated with your ability to adapt or your ability of duality. So, Pisces and Gemini, both of you have the superpower of duality. Okay, you're very non-biased is the best way that I can put it. You're just very balanced when it comes to duality. And a lot of people get that confused. They think that we're supposed to be both dark and light in an equal blend. No, duality is understanding both sides and letting both sides have a voice so that there is some kind of harmony. When it comes to dark and light, I believe that we need to choose, because if you don't choose who you're going to serve, are you going to serve genuine light or are you going to serve genuine darkness? If you are in spiritual limbo, that's going to cause a, a, a manic disorder psychologically. You cannot be in spiritual limbo all the time. At some point, you're going to have to choose. And just because you choose doesn't mean that you don't have a certain energy of self defense. Pisces, there's something that you hold. I want to say it's like a prophecy or a scroll, a revelation that it's almost like you're the one who's being chosen to begin either a revolt, a revolution, or something along those lines, a solution to a problem. I feel that Pisces is the one that has to come up with it. I don't know why. This is just something that has been gossiped about in the astrology world, has been mentioned, and I can see why. There's the person who's going to come up with the solution is going to be someone who has to understand duality. And it's interesting. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to mention that because then I don't want this to be all political. I do not associate with politics. I don't vote because I can scan how they cheat. And there's no need to vote for something when your vote does not count. They cheat. They cheat. In my opinion, voting should be public information. It shouldn't be private. It should be public. Your vote should be public. That's the only way that you can determine how not to cheat. But if they make your vote confidential, they're making it confidential so you won't see them cheat, you know? So there's this riddle, there's this puzzle, debacle, whatever you want to call it. And Pisces, you're the one who's being called forward to represent humanity. That's the best way that I can put this. Humanity needs a voice, and they need someone with dualistic power, and that is Pisces. You are the voice of the people. This is not a time to be spiritually lazy. This is not a time to be experimenting with psychedelics. And even if you do, you'll have a really bad trip because it's just going to make you feel the chaos of the world even more. You have to wake up and smell the coffee. You need to do a spiritual detox. You need to do fasting. You need to disassociate yourself from the things that you know are not good for you. You are being called forward to be the voice of the people. When it comes to dating, when it comes to marriage, your person does not understand. Pisces, you continue to settle. You've settled. You continue to settle. You continue to settle for someone that you're never planning on marrying. Okay, these are just collective readings. If it resonates with you, you take it. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's meant for somebody else. I just scan the story that is obvious. And Pisces, you cannot complain when it comes to your romantic life because you settled for the person that you settled, and that person is not going to leave you. Who would leave a Pisces? No one ever leaves a Pisces. No one ever leaves a Pisces. It's so rare. It is rare for someone to leave a Pisces, even if the Pisces is abusive, even if the Pisces cheats. Even if the Pisces cheats, people never leave the Pisces. You could have, let's say, two people that you're messing around with and they find out about each other. They will both know about each other and still not leave you and still say, no, Pisces is mine, because that's how special you are. In high school, it's always the Pisces that everybody wants. Everybody always wants the Pisces. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. It doesn't matter about your other placements. I'm talking about the sun sign Pisces. In high school, usually like 98% of the time, everybody always wants the Pisces. If that's not the case, it just means that you are not in that dimension. Like Pisces has an ability to teleport and go to other timelines, dimensions, and time machine portals. We are the portals. We are the technology. We are the precious technology that they're trying to use as a freaking Wi Fi router. You know, the enemy tries to use humanity as Wi Fi routers, and you cannot allow that, right? So we're super powerful, and it's like Pisces is like the one that carries something. They carry a piece of our ancient history within them. It's like Pisces is the seed vault of humanity's diary and history. I don't know why that's how I want to say it, but that's just how it's coming out. And of course, you have a person. You're never single. Pisces is never single. Pisces is always associated with a group of people that are pining after them. And you, surprisingly, have been committed to the one that you settled with, but the one that you settled with, you're never planning on marrying. And if you are happily married, I doubt it. I doubt that you're happily married. The ones that are married, I'm totally kidding. The last part, I'm totally kidding. If you are married, I don't think that you would be watching this reading, but you know what? If you are, I think everything is perfect because you're such a perfect team player that you are not going to allow your family to be in any kind of difficulty. Pisces takes you make sure that everyone in your family is taken care of. So if you are in a marriage that you did not settle in and that you're happy in, then you're doing an amazing job protecting and holding down your family. These readings are usually for people who are either single or in limbo or going through heartbreak. It's not really for married people because married people are busy with their spouse. You know, they just are. So I don't really focus much on married couples. My main focus is people who are in recovery, trying to improve their life energetically and spiritually. That is my main focus. And those are usually going to be either single or in limbo or in a relationship and having some kind of interference. Anyways, back to you, Pisces. It's really rare that anybody ever leaves you. Um, it's just so interesting to me for the one that's settled, the one that continues to settle, the one that has been with a settlement for the past 10 years or 15. It's interesting because you're committed to the settlement. It's very interesting to me. You are loyal and committed to that settlement. However, if somebody were to come around and give you an authentic soul connection, I think you would leave the person you settled for. I'm sorry, I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm just a scanner. But that is the problem with settling. The reason why you don't settle is because your person or you might one day encounter the one that was really meant for you, and you're not going to be available for them. But because you're a Pisces, you would leave the person you settled for a true soul connection. And I think that the real reason why you settled for so long is because that's how long it's been since you felt a soul connection. And another reason why you haven't found anybody to replace your settlement for is because your settlement has been faithful to you. Because a lot of times, if you're in a committed relationship, this is just my superstition, okay? I have a superstition that if you're in a committed relationship and you crush on someone, it's because your person is crushing on someone and it's their karma for you to crush on someone. I don't know if that makes any freaking sense to anyone, but I've always found out when someone was cheating or unfaithful by who and when I crushed. Whenever I crush, it's because someone is not loyal to me. And if I'm not crushing on no one except for one, which is my person, then they're loyal to me too. Because if I'm not crushing on anybody but my person, then that means that there is no karma. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just wanted to mention that just because I think it's interesting. So, what you should do, you're doing an amazing job. Like you're like an instructor or a business owner, and you're just doing such an amazing job taking care of people, even if you settled for them. I'm sorry, I just can't get over it. I can't get over it. I dissect those kind of mentalities. I just want to understand, how people could do that, because I'm one of those that I could never settle. I could never settle. I could never settle, like the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with is that person that I am cosmically married to. Okay. That's all I have for you. Bye. Okay, let's move on along. I have to hurry because I'm making this a little too long. Okay, Gemini, 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 Gemini should be the name of a soda. Like they should name if I ever like made a soda, I would name it Gemini. Like, have you had Gemini? A Gemini soda pop fizzle? Okay. Oh, Gemini. You are exactly where Source wants you to be. Okay. You are open. Your heart is open. Your soul is open. Your spirit is open to the love of God, to the love of Source, to the divine miracles, to divine abundance and divine protection, divine intervention, supernatural miracles. You are open to all of that. And you know why all of those things are going to come your way? They're going to come your way because you believe in them. There's something that you believe in. There's something that people don't have. And you know what that is? It's faith. I can go down this whole list of 13 signs, and how many people on this paper actually can say they have faith. A lot of the times, the reason why things don't come our way is because we are in a transition of faithlessness. And that does not exist here with you. The reason why so many things are going to improve in the next coming months is because of your good faith. You are another sign, along with Pisces, who has dualistic superpowers. You understand the power of duality without selling your soul. A lot of times people get duality confused with, ooh, that means I get to combine some darkness. No, it doesn't. It just means that you understand both sides and you understand that they have to work together, but ultimately you have to make a choice to choose the higher choice than the lower choice, right? And I see that you've made that choice. So you have chosen source here. You know, you're not like Scorpio that's like, I don't know, darkness looks really tempting. No, even when you accidentally slither back to darkness, you feel ashamed and you go right back to source. You go right back to love. You go right back to genuine light. I'm so proud of you. You have metaphysical abilities, energetic abilities that you dismiss or others dismiss, and they need to not be dismissed. Your intuition right now, I would have to say that your intuition is one of the best for all 13 signs that I've done today. Your intuition is on the dot. It just is. It's like you can see through the BS that other people cannot. And you have secret admirers that you don't like back because your standards have been raised. You've upgraded spiritually and you've realized that you have the authority to upgrade all of your standards. Hallelujah. And that includes friendships, social circles, people that you don't consider. Um, you're giving a bit of an asexual vibe where you're just kind of not interested in any gender. You like admire people, but you're just not really interested in any gender at all. You're more interested in what you secretly have faith in to transpire and manifest. This could be a career or a hobby that has your focus is on that, and you want it to reflect what you believe in, which is positive and filled with genuine light. All of your hurdles were not for nothing. You suffered. The last couple of years, you've suffered so much. And the reason why you suffered was to make you stronger, because when you were placed in this difficult situation for several years and you thought you would never survive, you were too weak. You were too weak. And going through, Source never lets us suffer without receiving something in return. Source never says, oh, well, you went through all that for nothing. No, it's always for something. So even though you went through all of that, now you saying that you are strong is an understatement. You are a force that no one is going to be able to reckon with spiritually. But you do have to work on physical strength. Your physical strength is not matching your spiritual strength. Your physical strength is being targeted by the opposing force that doesn't want to see you Bruce Lee match your physical energy with your spiritual and energetic. Your energetic and your spiritual is really good, and your energetic and physical need work. So you need to have to find a way to align all of them so that you are spiritually, energetically, and physically strong. You have the right mindset where you are discerning. Just be careful with negative influences that will try to brainwash you and convince you to go back down to the dark side that you work so hard to stay afloat from. That is all that I have for you when it comes to dating. Gemini's like, no way. What about when it comes to dating? When it comes to dating, I don't like nobody for you. Okay? If I don't mention love life, it usually means I don't like the people that are trying to be with you, because the one that's truly going to be for you, you're not going to be asking about. you're going to be sure about. That's your clue. It's not a question. It's not a question if you're like, oh, I have this person, this person, and this person in mind. Okay, well, look at all three people. How do they make you feel? How does A make you feel? And that's first, second. Second, the second one, how does the second one make you feel? How does the third one make you feel? Okay, uncomfortable, 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 uncomfortable. Then none of them are the one. The one that's the one is going to make you feel comfortable. You know, a little butterflies is okay, a little nervousness is okay, but for the most part, the one that's meant for you should make you feel comfortable. The one that's meant for you feels like you don't have to speak because you already know everything about each other, okay? And let's move on. Thank you. Bye. To Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius. 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 Okay, Sagittarius, don't you dare get distracted. Okay? Your biggest enemy right now is distraction. Friends, drugs, alcohol, parties, clubs, invitations, those are all distractions. They're setups, they're traps so that you will get destroyed. Your eyes have to be set on the money, okay? I'm sorry to sound so superficial. I'm just a scanner, but your eyes have to be on the money right now. Even though your soul and spirit wants to focus on a relationship with Source, for example, we can't have a relationship with Source if we have nowhere to live and we have no roof over our head. So your focus has to be on your finances right now and on politely pushing away all of your distractions, all of your invitations. Say, no, I need to focus my eyes on the ball. I need to focus on my stability, on my sanity, on my individuality, because you are a vulnerable sign. Sagittarius, you are my favorite client when it comes to recovery, relapse prevention work, when it comes to rehab, anything along those lines. You are my favorite one to work with because there is effort. There's always effort in you. A lot of times people want to give up. They give up and they don't care to progress. You're always so honest about your journey. You're always so honest about your path. You're always so honest about your recovery, your fasting, your detox, your rehabilitation center experiences. You're always so honest about it. Like, I just can't imagine any other sign being my favorite to work with in recovery work than Sagittarius, because I can see your care for something else, even if you can't understand it, even if people accuse you of being selfish. A lot of times people accuse you of being selfish because they don't understand. You're not selfish. You're just trying to understand from an internal angle. You know, you don't take physical things so seriously. Physical things, you have like a sense of humor and sarcastic way of looking at the things that are right in front of you. Because you understand that it's just temporary. You understand that there's something beyond furniture, beyond superficiality. You understand that there's something beyond this life that is more important than these matrix worries. And your care for something better, like your internal and spiritual struggle, causes a ripple effect of healing towards the collective. So even if you relapse and you regret it and you feel guilt and you feel shame and you put yourself back into a rehab center or back into wherever you put yourself when you relapse, because you cared enough, that still causes a ripple. Even while you relapse, you think, oh, you're contributing, horrible to the world. But no, even your reaction or response to how you feel after the relapse has a positive effect to the world. It reflects to the collective that we have the power to fix our mistakes. We have the power to fix our mistakes. And believe it or not, you should not be so ashamed of yourself, because a lot of times what I realized, what I learned, is that a lot, if not more than half of the relapses in any addict's life is actually spiritual interference, a spiritual attack, spiritual warfare. So sometimes it doesn't even count as a relapse. Sometimes it counts just as a full-blown possession of something trying to take away your power, or something overriding your amygdala. Okay? So either way, your efforts are not unnoticed. When it comes to dating, it's very difficult for you to find people that are on your level, and you always end up dating people who want to party, and they want to party so bad, and they want to party with you, and then you have to sit there and tell them no because I'm trying to improve myself. So it's like you always fall in love for the girls who do that exact thing that you need to stay away from. And that is your weakness. You can't find anyone that you're attracted to that's in recovery. You are going to have to let that person go, and you know it. You're hiding them here. You don't want me to see them. You're like, "Oh, I'm in love with an addict." Well, you're going to have to let that addict go. You're going to have to put your boundaries down. That's the best that I can do. You're going to have to talk to that person and say, "Hey, I love myself enough to protect myself spiritually, to put that boundary that if you continue drinking, if you continue shooting up, I can't be with you. It's either me or the substance, because I love myself enough to support my recovery." I had to do this myself. Sagittarius, is I had to do this with my best friend. I had to cut off my best friend because she would not stop drinking. I had to cut her off because she chose to continue drinking over me. She expected me to talk to her on the phone every day while she drank. And I grew up with this woman. I grew up with her. I had past lifetimes with her. And just to give you an example, you have to love yourself and put yourself first. And if this person really loves you, they are going to quit the substance and be with you. And if they don't want to quit the substance, trust and believe that you're going to find somebody amazing that is allergic to the substance that you're trying to stay away from. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Bye. Hi, Virgo. This is going to be your reading. You are my last one today. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. What is going on with you? I want to shuffle yours a lot longer because I just do. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Virgo, you are overwhelmed. You are overwhelmed and you're trying to hide it. You're overwhelmed and you're trying to hide it. You are plagued with the spirit of confusion, and you have to learn how to clear the spirit of confusion from your space, from your mind, from your body, from your auric shield, your bedroom, your apartment. You have to raise your voice. You do not raise your voice in authority. Who has authority over your life? Who has authority over your soul? Who has authority over your marriage? Who has authority over your family? Who has authority over your house and your apartment, your bedroom, your mind? You have a white piece of paper and there's nothing written on it. There's nothing declared. There's nothing decreed. So what do you think is going to happen if there's no protection? If there's no protection, darkness is going to constantly plague you with confusion, poverty, and limits and restrictions and blocks. All those things you are experiencing right now because you have not declared that you belong to source, that you choose source, that you choose genuine love and light, that you choose humanity, that you choose the salvation and healing of humanity, Mother Earth, and all souls, that you declare protection over your family, your household, your mind, your bed. If you don't make those declarations, if you don't go around smudging your house, touching the walls, touching the bed, touching the door frames, saying nothing evil can enter this house, anything that is not of God must leave now. And anything that tries to hurt me is rejected, blocked, and returned to sender infinitely and eternally on loop. You have to make those declarations because you know what hurts a lot of men? What hurts a lot of men is ego. Ego destroys opportunities, ego destroys potential. A lot of people have ego and they don't want to pray. They don't want to raise their voice. They don't want to bow down to the floor and say, I bow down to you, Source. Use me. I want to serve humanity. I choose you. I choose to serve you. I am in this lifetime to serve you, not darkness. And you can declare that over all of your lifetimes, past, present, and future. So your problem, my Virgo, is declaring protection over your house because your voice is powerful and you're not using it. You're wasting time indulging in perversion and lust. And your house and your life is going to be a mess until you do a better job declaring protection over every aspect. And it's a work in progress because you haven't done it for so long. The results are going to be delayed. Okay, those are all the messages that I have for you. Anyone that you're dating, I'm sorry, but this is not a good time for you to date. You're not stable enough to date. And this is not financial because a lot of people think, oh, well, if I'm not financially stable, I can't be in a relationship. Baloney. It just depends on what kind of person you are. You know, it's not about finances, it's about spiritual and divine order. And there's just disorder and chaos here. So you're going to have to learn how to get grounded and how to put everything where it needs to be because right now you're lacking of faith. And that's a dangerous position to be in. You have to restore your faith, restore your power, restore your grounding, replenish, put everything back into divine order. Because right now you're not even open for any messages from the source to come and save you. And as soon as you start declaring and decreeing protection over your life in all aspects, things are going to be put back in order and you're going to feel better. Open the windows, smudge, light a candle, and start doing this every day because we are in a spiritual war. And if you're not defending yourself because you decide to be spiritually lazy on a Friday, the enemy's not never sleeps. The enemy never sleeps. So you can't afford to skip a day when it comes to protection and smudging, as well as return spells. You need to also do return work whenever you declare. Whenever you do your declarations for your house, you use your voice and your authority to return back to the sender all of the negative thoughts that people try to send your way, especially online. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. And I just wanted to say that I hope that you didn't take anything. I hope that this reading didn't hurt anyone's feelings or didn't make you feel like I'm attacking you. I am simply a scanner. I scan. I scan the collective and I can clearly see what needs to be expressed, what needs to be cleared, what needs to be brought to your attention. And I do that all with love. Thank you so much. Till next time. Bye.